Welcome to News Around, the place where celebrity lives are told with heart, depth, and respect. Tonight we tell a story that left an entire studio breathless. The moment beloved actor Barış Baktaş removed his public armor on live television and, in doing so, placed before millions a private memory that reshaped everything he and Yağmur Yüksel have meant to one another. This is not gossip wrapped in gloss. It is a human tale of fear, devotion, and the fragile luminousness of surviving together. As the lights dimmed and cameras rolled, Barış delivered a confession so intimate it turned a routine program into an unexpected act of revelation. What followed, stunned silence, tears, and an outpouring of empathy across the nation, revealed how true love can appear, most powerfully, when vulnerability is admitted aloud. The recording began like any other primetime feature. Hosts smiled, colleagues joked, and Barış entered with the relaxed composure of a professional who has long learned to walk between adoration and anonymity. He answered questions with the ease of a practiced star. But then, without warning, the interview pivoted. An ostensibly casual question, "What was the most touching moment of your life?" landed like a pebble in still water. Ripples of expectation turned to wide rings of stunned attention when Barış fell silent, eyes lowering, hands folding as though to hold in place the emotion that threatened to spill. For years the pair had been known as a quiet couple. Their public gestures were small and carefully measured. Rarely did either of them allow cameras to capture the full interior of what it meant to love and be loved under relentless scrutiny. That guard, however, fell away that night. Barış inhaled, measured the room with a gaze that had carried the weight of private nights, and began to speak. He told, in halting, trembling phrases, of a day and a hospital room that had altered him forever. Yağmur, he revealed, had suffered an illness in secrecy, an ordeal that remained largely unknown to fans and press alike. Through fevers, through nights of uncertain monitors, through a silence of worry that was only punctured by the softest of breaths, she lay vulnerable. Barış described the moment she opened her eyes and clutched his hand. She said, quietly and with the small defiance of someone clinging to hope, "Everything will be okay." He, colder with dread than the expression allowed, knew that in truth nothing might be okay at all. Those who watch the industry for its manufactured dramas could not help but be moved by the authenticity. Social feeds filled with reactions not of mockery but of astonished compassion, video clips of the confession multiplied, fans penned long messages recounting personal memories of illness and devotion, even fellow actors posted simple hearts and small notes of solidarity. In a landscape often saturated with spectacle, something raw and unspoiled had broken through. Yet this revelation did more than prompt collective empathy, it reframed the couple's entire narrative. Previously regarded as private and relatively impenetrable, Barış and Yağmur now occupied new space in the public imagination, not as a celebrity duo curated for tabloids, but as two people who had weathered an intimate, terrifying terrain together. The story moved watchers from speculation, which sometimes flirts with malice, to a mode of witness that acknowledged the costly grace of love. Yağmur's reaction amplified the tenderness of the moment. Hours after the broadcast, she posted a short clip of Barış speaking, accompanied by a slender caption, "Everything is fine with you." Those 3 words carried the resonance of both reassurance and communal witnessing. They were a public embrace with private roots. The post drew millions of interactions, and fan communities reciprocated with messages of gratitude and affection. Many admitted that the sight of a celebrity exhibiting such vulnerability had felt healing in a cultural moment that often prizes irony over empathy. Friends close to the pair provided additional color. The illness in question had been kept private out of a desire to protect dignity and avoid sensationalizing pain. During those days, Barış reportedly arranged his schedule to be present, often sleeping on a couch in the hospital room rather than returning to an empty apartment. Small acts, recounted later by insiders with a hush of reverence, included holding Yemire's hand as she drifted into rest, replaying childhood songs to keep panic at bay, and whispering memories that would coax a fragile smile. The aftermath of the televised confession saw the couple step into public view with renewed composure but diminished artifice. They were photographed the next evening walking beside the Bosphorus, a slow, deliberate promenade in which Yemire rested her head against Barış's shoulder. The image wound quickly across newsfeeds, not as an item of tabloid prurience but as a quiet epilogue to the evening's candor. Observers remarked on how grief and tenderness had softened their features, how the arc of their expressions suggested that trauma had been transmuted into a new kind of intimacy. Analysts and commentators debated what such moments mean for public figures. Some opined that this confession might encourage other celebrities to be more forthcoming about personal struggles, reducing the stigma around illness and emotional fragility. Others cautioned against romanticizing suffering. They urged audiences to respect boundaries even as they honor bravery. Yet most agreed on one key point: the confession had expanded the parameters of what emotional honesty can look like when it appears not as a publicity stunt but as a human confession. To our News Around family, what did you feel when you watched Bar that night? Did his confession mirror any private pains you have witnessed in your own life? Do you think celebrities should disclose such personal struggles, or should privacy remain inviolable even in the face of empathy? Write your answers below, we read and respond. And if stories that honor the humanity behind the headlines matter to you, please support our work. Hit subscribe, click like, and if you want to help us bring more heartfelt reporting, press the join button to become part of the News Around circle. Your engagement lets us continue telling these human stories with care. As weeks pass, the echo of that televised moment will remain. It will be quoted in retrospectives, taught to interns as an example of truthful storytelling, and likely referenced as a turning point in how Turkish entertainment narratives can be approached. But perhaps most importantly, it will linger in the private lives of viewers who saw in Barış's confession a permission to be tender, to speak what aches, and to sit faithfully with those one loves when nights are long and outcomes uncertain. Bar and Yemire's next steps are theirs alone to choose. Sources say they will not rush to make pronouncements or stage a long narrative arc. Instead, they will continue living with the quiet steadiness they have worked for together. For those who adore them, that modest privacy will be the truest form of respect. For everyone else, the lesson is simple: witness with compassion, refrain from sensationalism, and allow private courage its dignity. From all of us at News Around, tonight's story reminded us that beneath every headline is a heartbeat. When a star strips away the performance and shows us what's tender, we are called to respond not with glare but with grace. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Tell us who you want to see next on News Around. Which celebrity story should we cover with the same depth and warmth? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and join if you'd like to support our work. News Around, real feelings, real people, real stories.